guys, the other day I was talking to one of my friends, and somehow in the midst of conversation, we started talking about the stress of like bills being due, especially when you're in between paychecks. One of his solutions for himself was Empower, and he started telling me about how you can get instant cash. I hit him with the what? That's crazy. Obviously didn't believe him and was just a tad skeptical. So I had to try it out for myself just to see what he was talking about. So I go to their site and there it is. You can get up to $300 with their cash advance feature. And the way that bills are relentless right now, I was just hoping this is true. So all I had to do was just download the Empower app. I had to put in a few personal details. And one thing that hit me that I could not believe was that there was no credit check. I'm always down for no credit check. You have no idea. So there I go, putting in the application, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm about to hear back from them in a couple of days. That gives me a little leeway. Nope. $100 instantly right then and there. Honestly, was taken aback by how quick it was. After reading a little bit further in detail, not only is there no credit check and not only is there no application fee to be approved for a cash advance, there is also no interest and no late fees. $300 instant cash could help many people out for many different things. Gas, groceries, a normal unexpected expense, especially between checks or right up against a major bill like rent when it's due. That extra $300 could save you from a lot of headache. I can confidently say to you right now that if you are not using Empower, you need to start. An effortless, seamless transaction with a company with over 300,000 five-star reviews and over 2 billion with a B, dollars sent to customers in need. As you know, in today's world, life can get expensive and it doesn't stop whenever there's some unexpected expense that pops up, especially if you're in a tight spot like between checks. Download Empower and get your first cash advance. I promise you, you'll be thanking me when it saves you.
I wanted to get your take on this, man. Trump came out and said that he's ready to give all drug dealers the death penalty.
Here's the thing with this. So, Venezuela had, I believe it's Venezuela. Let me fact check this real quick before they try to kill me in the comments. I believe the Venezuelan president.
Good.
Because I know Venezuela used to be dangerous. It's not them. What is that country? El Salvador. Okay, there we go. El Salvador used to be overridden with gangs and drugs. The policies he implemented now, El Salvador is listed as probably one of the safest countries in the world. She is mimicking that. But the reason he's saying that is because he declared war against the cartels. And a lot of cartel leaders get captured here in the United States. So he's saying that so they flee, so they leave. And he's also saying that because there is a group of people who want America to be back in its glory days where people had money and the majority of the suburbs were safe. So now they're going back to that mode. In order to accomplish that, you're gonna have to have harsh penalties. Now, also you've seen that Mexico has caved and they have extradited 39 cartel leaders here to the United States. So now he wants to put into the ether that look, these guys are getting executed. Because, you know, in Sweden, they have the same amount of guns per capita as we do here. Never had a school shooter. Never had a mass shooter. We have one here almost once a month. Why is that? The opioid crisis, the fentanyl crisis, has a direct effect on the mental health crisis here in this country. In order to clean up the country, in order to stop people from breaking down and committing these atrocities, drugs play a role. What affects a lot of people's mental health? The onset of drugs, the availability of drugs. because you can get gun and drugs before you can get anything else of value. To get a house, you gotta have good credit. You gotta have 3 times the rent. To get a car, you gotta be able to take out an auto loan mostly. To go to school, you gotta take out a loan. But you can get a gun and drugs. You got $300. You can get all of that in a few hours. That's a problem. Something needs to be done for sure. Straight up and down.
Well, back in the day, drugs didn't really kill a lot of people. Like now it's like this fentanyl crisis is just, is killing so many people that, if you're a drug dealer, you potentially could kill people. Versus, 10, 15 years ago, it was like if you were a drug dealer, your clients didn't die. Very, if they did, it was rare.
For sure.
It was very rare for unless you're selling maybe coke, but if you're selling crack, if you're selling dope or meth, these people didn't die. At least not for 30, 40 years.
You're right. You ever seen somebody overdose on crack?
You know what I mean? It don't happen.
I never seen a crack overdose. I seen people, be addicted to heroin 20, 30 years, keep a job, raise a family, have a car. Enough fentanyl the size of your pinky fingernails enough to kill you. And then you got people cutting cocaine with fentanyl. A upper and a downer. I know some guys who did that, and they was working for a certain cartel, and they gone now. You can't even find them nowhere no more. They mom called, said they got a phone call, said, Mom, he was in, they all gone. It was like a group of 6 of them, they gone. So they ain't playing about people doing that, you feel me? And then, a lot of fentanyl is coming in from China. It's Trump got an uphill battle. The Democrats spent $140 million on making transgender animals. And you could have used that money to sew up the border and to prevent a lot of these drugs from coming through. The death penalty for drug dealers is crazy. It needs to be an immediate death penalty for pedophiles and child rapists as well, though. Because, they'll give a drug dealer 50 years and let a pedophile out in 2. A lot of flaws in society right now. It's looking real suspicious to me, for sure. But, Trump doing what he got to do, man. You got to have law and order if you command the chief, straight up.
One of the other things that's been in the news that's been kind of crazy is all these planes crashing. I think there was even another problem, another plane crash just today out in Texas. One person, only one person died, but it's like, I don't ever remember a time in history where I seen this many plane crashes.
And I said this was going to happen. I told Mom this was going to happen. Retired FBI agent John D'Souza said a couple years ago, after they announced the UFO shit, you're going to start seeing planes fall out the sky. Because you got 2 things going on. You got Chinese hackers messing with the automation systems on planes. Then you see them as bills, high-speed rail systems getting implemented into the United States of America. If you want everybody to get on your train and stop riding planes, what do? You make the planes seem unsafe. Most of these planes have autopilot systems that can be hacked. When we seen that Black Hawk helicopter crash into that passenger plane, there was no manifest release from that Black Hawk helicopter showing anybody on board. They hacked the plane, put it in the air, crashed it into the plane. This is what's going on, bro. I've been saying it. It's gonna happen some more. Point blank period. You see them pass the bill implementing boring systems that put high-speed rail systems. Bullet trains is coming. You want everybody to get on the bullet train? More people used to die from car crashes that died from planes. Now we've seen the most plane crashes in history. It's not a coincidence. And I was the first person to come out and say it online, period. And the next thing we're going to see is we're going to start seeing power outages in certain areas. The U.S. Justice Department said they have caught hundreds of Chinese hackers setting up offices and office buildings. It's at the Justice Department website, blatantly attacking U.S. infrastructure. Point blank, period. That's what's going on. You heard it right here. That's the facts.
It's gonna be wild, man.
For sure.